Good morning, everybody. It is the 20th Tuesday. Oh my gosh, I don't have my lights on. What the heck, Seth? What are you doing? I thought I was, I was a little bit early today. I thought I was on the ball, got a good night's rest, and then I do something like I forget the lights. I think we're good now, though. Guys, yesterday was a real dumpster fire. And I don't feel like I really understood very well what was going on at the time. That was a really off day to me, and I will explain why. I mean, I really should have seen this from the beginning. So first of all, it was down big time, right? It was really down big time. Okay, but I want to come back here for a second to our 5-minute chart. So look at our 5-minute chart. From the open, I mean, yeah, there was some negative delta, but look at all this buying up through here. Actually bought up it. They actually bought it up more. And then look at this close volume. Look at that. Boom. So when I see moves against the cumulative delta, I think well, the only way that can really happen is if there is unusual activity on limit orders, right? So I'm thinking that this was hedging activity, and we put it in context with what was going on yesterday with the huge amount of gamma that expired last week and all of that stuff. I think that we have to look at this as hedging activity. So it's like somebody knows they have to dump a bunch of stocks because they don't need it to hedge their positions anymore. And so they are coming into the futures and they are passively selling the futures to hedge that they're about to sell all of these stocks, is my take on what I think was going on yesterday. So probably the call yesterday should have just been short no matter what because of the gamma. But I digress. Now the difficulty here, oh my gosh, it's not even showing you guys the right screen, is it? Hold on a second. There we go. And what about this one? Okay, this one's fine. Okay, so just to review here. Yesterday, cumulative delta actually positive through the session, and then a big increase in delta at the end of the session. So that big increase at the end of the session is what has me like, oh yeah, that was for sure hedging activity. Like they were just hedging that they were going to dump, and when they didn't need it at the end of the session, they got rid of it. Okay. So the unfortunate thing here is that there's like a bunch of stuff going on, and people, saying, well, it's because of this or it's because of this. And that doesn't really tell us if those are gone or not. Because if it was just the hedging of the delta, that would be one thing, right? But they're talking about the delta variant of the virus and all of these things, which brings us to the treasuries, because the treasuries continue to move higher. Very much so. And I believe that they are well past the fundamentals at this point. So at least that's what Wall Street analysts continue to believe. So I don't know. If we're going to get a recovery today and in the overnight, that's what they've been doing in the equities, these treasuries are going to have to come back hard. Hard. Oil took a big dump yesterday too, by the way. Kind of the short-term OPEC agreement combined with the overall selling in the equity market and expectations of less demand really hurt oil yesterday, all right? We got gold and silver. We're also hammered yesterday, but actually recovering and still holding that 1800 area in gold. Silver, though, just getting pummeled. Then we got copper. Copper also. Less global growth demands means copper not doing so well. And then the dollar continues to strengthen here at 93, which is just a funny, the biggest consensus trade at the beginning of the year was short the dollar. And I don't think that one has worked all that well for them, has it? So, all right, well, let's open up the text to speech here, all that stuff, even though I won't use it. Adrian. Oh, thank you very much for the donation. Moving into a new place and no Wi-Fi yet, so I'll give you this instead of losing money in ZN. Oh, thank you so much. Keller says, I called yesterday from a mile away. Well, I think if you were calling it from the gamma, then you had it right. I don't know. I was, I'm going around social media and looking at everything, and I see a lot of people being like, "Oh, I saw this coming," and I was like I looked back at like what they were saying before and everything. I was like, "No, you didn't. You got lucky." Some of these people got lucky, but I digress because they weren't. Maybe they said that there was going to be a short, but I don't think that they correctly anticipated what was going to cause that. And I mean, here's where this matters: is what happens next, right? Because this move in the treasuries, there has they did a survey, right? Remember the survey last week, and they said which factor was the most important to the decline in yields, and they said, well, maybe it's just supply and demand specifics in the treasuries themselves is probably the biggest factor, people covering shorts, that sort of a thing. So if that was the case last week and now it's continuing, is that still the case now? Or is it other concerns? I don't think, personally, this whole thing about will the Federal Reserve make a policy mistake and all that, I think at this point now that it's irrelevant. Obviously, the Federal Reserve isn't going to be raising rates or doing anything dumb, right? So what is it? Is it the Delta variant? Is it just global, expectations that growth wasn't as high as it was supposed to be? Is that what's doing it? Is things just falling apart because of what we've done to the monetary system? Like, there's a couple of different options here still, right? And if we say that yesterday's move was primarily because of the gamma, it doesn't tell us very much about what it's going to do today, does it? So, Jeff Bezos goes to the moon today? Is that always he on that flight? Well, for me, hopefully the robot just takes care of everything for me, and I can focus on the bonds. But we'll see what happens. I'm concerned that I'm gonna have to come in and take trades again. So I was kind of trying to avoid that. I have been reading that during the lockdown, supply built up because there was no demand for products or services. Now that people start moving around again, it takes time to restart this. Oh, I think you might have misread that a little bit, because it's not so much that supply builds up. It's like they had to like straight up stop producing in some places, right? And but then you get the rest of it right. Like, it takes time for it to get going again. This is why, remember earlier on in the pandemic when they were doing the stimulus bill, I was like, this is dumb because they're only doing supply side stimulus. And probably from what it looks like, the demand. Sorry, did I say they're only doing demand side stimulus? They only did demand side stimulus. And it looks to me like the demand side didn't really get hammered. Like, the demand side is just reacting to everything else. If they had done some supply side stimulus at the same time, then maybe this global slowdown issue wouldn't be happening, right? We would have they would have been able to make some investments and ramp things up faster, and that increased supply side creates its own demand to some extent. Now, I think that some supply side economists are wrong when they suggest that you only need to do it on the supply side, but you get what I mean? Causes a crisis, or is causing a crisis in confidence. Yeah, well, but I think it's not just that. Like, the reality is that we expected things to just like come right back, right? And that's clearly not happening and was never going to happen. Even if we had done more supply side stimulus, I think, so much damage was done to small businesses, and people are living at home now. Like, there are so many people I'm noticing that they were working before, and now it's like, well, you know what? I was working, but I wasn't really making money from working. Like, everything that I made from working was just going into me babysitting and driving down there and eating out and all of these things. Now that I'm home all the time, it's like my income is the same. So why should I work? And so these people that didn't really need to work just aren't doing it. So kind of surprising to me that we didn't get a tick up in babies at the same time. But no, we're not getting very many babies at all during the pandemic. Funny. Is this kind of... So the growth was never going to be as high as we thought it was going to be. So the stock market's got to come back, right? How far back, I don't know. But, a lot of Wall Street analysts have been saying for a long time, 20% decline. I think it was JP Morgan had been calling for a 20% decline at some time this year for a long time. Okay, so we're going to get the housing starts number here soon. That probably will affect our treasuries here, right? Yeah, think how much money everyone will save by not stopping through Starbucks on the way to work. Tons of small changes add up. Exactly what I think is going on. Former FDA head issues dire warning about the Delta variant. It's a dire, guys. Read that later. Protesters clarify they're only okay with secret police in communist countries as the Babylon Bee. Holy jeez. Okay, here we go. I bet you that this moves the rate. Okay, so slightly higher than expected. So getting some volume here in the treasuries, but it's not really moving. Oh, are they talking about Operation Warp Speed? Let's be honest, here in Discord. How much credit can Trump take for Operation Warp Speed? It's not like Trump was in the lab running simulations and creating a vaccine. It's all just a big show. I think he gets it. Okay, well, I guess I had the wrong idea because they'd moved up another 3 ticks. Holy crap. We're doing this again, huh? Well. I'm tempted to just come in here and go short. I guess I can go short on my sim account if I want, but... Look at that big old fatty order at 28.5. Okay. So they're getting it again. That's weird. Housing starts was 6.3% versus the previous reading of 3.6. But building permits was negative 5.1. Overall, though, the housing starts was higher than expected. Permits was less than expected. But as that happened, after that happened, there was like the huge rush for liquidity in the treasuries again. It kind of looks like it's already, like they've already topped off for now. But the way that this has been going, they could just go up again. So it continues. Like, the issue that I'm having here is that, like, there's a lot of reason to believe that the moves we've been seeing lately are due to, like, technicals and positions and stuff like that. That in the treasuries, there's some short covering. In the equities, there is all of this gamma coming off and all of this sort of thing, right? But then I continue to see the treasuries move up. Like, and not just move up, but like panic search for liquidity. Like something is, they either think that the economy is going back into a recession, or there is like something seriously broken in the financing markets. And this report means that more of the projects that were out there ready to started, but that they are not looking to build as many as we had hoped in the future. So basically, the inflation has depressed demand, very much so. Is I would take on that. Like the housing market got like way ahead of itself, and that depressed the demand. So not as many people are looking to build new houses because of the inflation. But of the houses that were already, like, you know, set up, they already had the permits and everything, how many of them started? More of them than we expected. See, the treasury is still kind of reaching up at its highs. I should pay attention here at this. There's a big old bid right there at 30. That might be something that they eat up, but we'll see what happens. Okay. So are we just going to ignore another billionaire ego fest? I don't particularly care about them, though. I mean, they're not super pertinent to markets. See, like, I look at, I think that today would be normally where you would buy the dip, right? And that I'm going to bet you, given the current context and everything, that equities will probably try buying around the open. But I don't think that I really have a very probable setup on the fundamentals side. So I'm kind of going to have to go with the flow today. It's a little interesting to see how that moved out, right? Because they didn't really move on the news, but then afterwards there was like this huge stop run in the treasuries. And it looks like the equities are just really just moving in sympathy. Oil was fun yesterday, negative 8%. Oy. There's something bit off when someone is rich enough to pay for a space yacht and a mega yacht that needs a second yacht for the helicopter pad. Well, I think that there are a lot of misunderstandings and fallacies surrounding those sorts of things. So here's the thing that people need to understand. Amazon is one of the largest companies in the world. I receive packages from Amazon almost every day now. Okay. Like, that is a huge business. And guess what? Guess what? Jeff Bezos is almost solely responsible for that enterprise taking off. Okay. He started it from nothing. It was like just him and a few guys. He borrowed that money from his family. I mean, like, he really bootstrapped it. Okay. So that man is responsible for the creation, solely responsible of this one company. Yeah. That's like a lot of money. And when people are like, well, there's something wrong when he's able to get that much money, as though like because I think the implication there is that they could only have that much money by taking it from everybody else. But that's really not the case, right? He created all of that wealth. And yeah, the when you get into money, it just goes up orders of magnitude, right? So what we need for our everyday living is so tiny, and the amounts just go exponentially up. Like, building a yacht is so, like, to me, it's crazy how expensive a yacht is. That there is money out there to build that sort of a thing, but there is. You know that they did this thing where they wanted to like tax yachts. I think it was they wanted to tax yachts, and then they weren't building as many yachts, and it put all these people out of work. So, because it was such a big industry, and so they got rid of that rule. It's kind of funny. I have a problem with how rich he is. I just think the pitch that billionaires playing with their toys is historic and revolutionary is retarded. Well, here I lay the blame at the feet of the media, right? Like, in all reality, why should we care what Jeff Bezos or Mark Zuckerberg is doing? You seen all this stuff about, I saw a TikTok just before I got on the air. This guy, he said he worked at Facebook, and he's like, Zuckerberg is the most cringy boss. And he was talking about all the weird things that Zuckerberg did. He brought his kids to work one day, but apparently he didn't want his kids to speak English. Like, he wants them only speaking Russian until they're 10. Like, isn't that weird? That's super weird, right? But why should we care? Why is that? Why are we going around saying this about Mark? He should just be a private person. Like, we don't say this stuff about Warren Buffett. Like, people are way too interested in the lives of the rich and famous. And everybody just eats it up, and the media plays it up. They keep pitching it like opening the door for consumer spaceflight. No, there will never be consumer spaceflight, and none of our children, or literally anyone. I don't think that that's true. I'm not sure I agree with that. I mean, there's still some key technologies that need to be developed, but being able to go to space for a few tens of thousands, I think, is something that could happen in our lifetime. Especially if they started doing crazy stuff like making a moon base and things like that. But they're making it cheaper and cheaper, and the thing is it's kind of a staged thing. So, like, particularly when you look at Elon Musk's company, like, they haven't even really gotten their most efficient things started yet. Their most efficient engines going. So we'll see. I'll wager you the $1 million price tag of the first tickets. Well, before it comes down to us, it's going to have to get a lot cheaper than that, right? There you go, Fernando. Who gives an F what these mega rich people do unless they are not paying taxes and all that stuff? They cannot be above the law or have laws favor them. Yeah. key technology. Well, the thing you've got to realize though is like, okay, so like think of it like a car engine, because probably I'm gonna bet that you know a decent amount about cars. You probably know more about cars than I do, right? Now think about all of the things, all of the technologies that go into making a car more efficient and faster, right? So you've got like your regular combustion engine, but then there's all of these things like turbochargers, and what's the other, superchargers, that are all about getting more air into the engine so that it can combust faster and pushing the exhaust faster and all of that sort of stuff. And those are all things that make the engine more efficient and thus able to go faster, right? Well, it's the same thing with rocket engines, essentially, okay? They can do things like have a pump that pumps the gas out, and then you can run that pump from the gas coming out, right? Just like a turbocharger, essentially. And there's all of these little enhancements on doing that. But there are also some key issues around doing those sorts of things. For instance, the rocket thrust becomes too hot. So then they pump the fuel through the exhaust pipe to cool it down before it goes in and turns into, there's all these crazy things that they've done, right? But essentially there are a bunch of components of that nature that you would have in like a modern day car, right? That is just so very complicated with a rocket engine. And so they haven't quite figured them out, right? So they know that more efficient rockets are possible. It just takes time for them to be able to incrementally step up to making those kinds of engines, right? Like they were making these kinds, or they were kind of working on making these kinds of engines back in the 80s, like the Russians, right? But then there's even steps on top of what the Russians were doing. And so now we're just getting back into maybe making rockets like the Russians were making, right? So there are efficiency enhancements, I could say, that we know we can make in rocket engines, right? So when they're projecting that, like this sort of a thing, they're not just guessing. Like they know once we perfect this technology, this is what it's going to be, and this is what it's going to be. Whether that leads to me being able to go to space, I think that's highly speculative, but I think that it's very possible that in my lifetime that could become a thing. That's my understanding about it. I'm not an expert in rocket technology. It sure is something that interests me when I see it on YouTube and TikTok. Big screen TVs used to be $20,000 and only the rich could purchase them. The rich funded their development to the point where the price comes down and the general public can afford them. Yeah, well, so the issue with space is that it requires a certain amount of energy just to get into space, right? So it's a lot harder to make the kind of incremental progress that you make on plasma televisions, right? Because on plasma televisions, you just came up with a completely different kind of technology. That it would be akin to, discovering anti-gravity or something like that, So because of the amount of energy, it requires a certain amount of fuel, and that fuel is expensive. Okay. Rocket fuel is expensive. So we can make the engines much more efficient, and that will make a big difference. But can they make it efficient enough that for you to fly to the moon, that it's a reasonable thing? It's possible. I'm only going to say it's possible. I'm not going to make a prediction that it's going to happen. I wouldn't take Uzi up on his bet on it. I'm not that confident in it. But I think it's plausible. It's plausible, but there's a lot of unknowns involved in that. Okay, well, the equity markets maybe we're kind of getting slightly higher lows, but things have really quieted down, haven't they? It's compelling to be positive. I don't know. I feel like that they wouldn't be pumping so much money into it if they didn't have some math and so forth that suggested that it was possible. Maybe it is Jeff we're talking about. It seems to me that Jeff is more interested than the other billionaires are in uh, public perceptions and controlling media. I don't know. He doesn't really seem to do a whole lot for his public image and persona, but he owns media company like Mark Zuckerberg. He doesn't really own a media company, right? But Jeff Bezos owns media companies. He's trying to make inroads into Hollywood. Like some of these purchases that they've been trying to make and everything don't really make any sense from a business standpoint, and I think are really more his own vanity and desire to control people's media. So I suppose that maybe Jeff could do it just for his image. Different from Elon Musk. I think Elon Musk does it because he thinks rockets are interesting, and he's going and saying, "Hey, we know that we can make this technology, but nobody's funding it. Let's just fund it and do it and make money from doing it." Okay, so the Treasuries just took another little hop up there. And, well, the equity markets moved a little bit on it, but not very much. Let's recenter the DOM so that we can kind of keep track of this a little bit better. Yeah, okay. We are going to get the red book. Humans will go extinct before we ever explore that. Well, yeah, I don't believe that we are going to get to another planet in our lifetimes. In fact, I'm not sure if it's possible. I'm really not sure if it's even possible. I mean, obviously, any kind of technology that would get us there would have to be new technology that we're not aware of right now. But when you look at like the theoretical physics of it, I think that there's a lot of reason to question that. Yeah. Well, these treasuries continue to have like this very persistent bid. Yeah, I don't think that we'll go to other solar systems, but I do think it's possible that within the 70 so years that I hope I have left on this earth, that in 70 years it could be possible that you could take a tourist trip to the moon. Isn't it also just a waste of money, or is it to get out and look at UFOs? No, it's not really a waste of money. It's actually a very profitable business. Like, that's the funny thing. Like, there are reasons for us to be in space, and especially putting satellites and stuff up. So developing the rocket technology and making it more efficient, the way that Elon Musk is doing in particular, there's definitely a real business case to it. Yeah. Now, getting tourists to the moon is a different issue, right? Like, there are plenty of mega corporations and governments that are willing to spend millions of dollars to get their satellite up into space because they can get their money back on that. taking a tourist up into space is a different issue. The technology would have to be a lot more efficient than it is today. So they seem to think that within a few decades that they'll be doing tourist space flights. Is it really that crazy to think that, another 6 decades from that people will be on the moon? Okay, well, the equities did take a little dip there, but they're kind of clawing their way back. But the treasuries are not backing off. Look at that steepening. Or, sorry, am I reading that right? I don't seem to trust my spreads anymore. Because look, it looks like steepening from looking at but then I look at my chart and it looks like everything is flattening. So maybe that was just some reversion there on this last little leg. I don't know. But the treasuries sure don't seem to be backing off, do they? Is that still short covering? Like, how much short covering can there be, There's got to be something else going on here in the treasuries, to be honest. Okay, so here comes the red book. Typically not a very large market mover. Okay, well, my robot did take a trade there, but it was a loser. So that's the first loser that it's actually taken, believe it or not. It may get another signal, though, so let's just let it do its thing. Like, look at this. Not only is it ticking up, but they're allowing it to tick up on like no volume. It's like the offers are just, well, okay. They took it there at 20. It's actually a decent amount there at 20. It's kind of hard to watch a move like this in treasuries and just not participate on any of it. But I have nothing sitting here telling me it's going to keep going up or that it was going to do this. Because it really is like, looks like freak moves to me. I mean, that's moving like there's news, right? And there wasn't really anything. New housing starts, does that give us a real high? Should that really justify buying the treasuries the way that they've been doing? I don't think that makes much sense. You know what? I think that the trade that my robot made might have been okay, but it's probably just might have just been a little bit of bad luck. If this comes back up to where it got in at like 69. If there was somebody talking about phishing, it was probably bots. So here, Discover Trading Group saying long end treasury yields continue to slide in large part due to the literal socialization of the opposite end of the curve by the Fed. Okay. It sure is going. Feeling a little like I would like to take risks. I want to take risks. Like today is the kind of a situation in a setup where, you know, there'd be some opportunity. And then I look at it and I'm just not seeing it. This is making me very uneasy. Come back here. Oh, I'm surprised. That probably should have been another long. Okay. So that as she goes, entry was about as good as you could hope for given the circumstances, but it is against the grain, so. Top of the hour, traders hit the like button. Thanks. You know why I ask? Good for channel numbers, affirms speculator Seth efforts, and doesn't cost a single penny to push. Thank you very much. Hey, Sebastian, another donation. We've been getting a lot of donations today, lately. Thank you guys so much. What the heck happened last night in markets? Well, I didn't really see any significant news per se. There's certainly stuff going on in the UK and Europe about the Delta variant, but I didn't really see anything that kind of suggested like informed trading overnight. It was just like they really paired their losses, you know. Another thing was, you know, they made a big push and then the London traders like gave it all up. But since then, it's been going pretty well. Like at the moment, it really looks like the equity traders are trying to buy the dip. To me, it's just that like this crazy bid in treasuries continues. So I keep YOLOing it, thinking that eventually it's gonna flip back on them hard. But I haven't been getting it. If I do get it, well, I'll probably just chalk it up to luck, right? Yeah, you know what? So this little move here in the E-mini, like there was some strong movements there, like that really suggested like some buying pressure. And look at how they give it up. Look at how they give it up. Well, going back to the my opening analysis, keep in mind that there's probably a lot of hedging going on here in the S&P 500. And it was definitely a strong factor yesterday, and I suppose it could still be a strong factor here today. And so we kind of have to factor in that some of the things that we might get from cumulative delta and watching market orders might be deceptive. Ace is going short. It's at the top of the hour. So do we have time for us to go down a bit ahead of the open? I'm not sure why I'm not. I remember going in today and being like, well, we should go with the flow, and then maybe we should follow some of Ace's. But, or at least, if we had things together, but I'm just not liking this area. Remember to thank you guys very much. We've been doing well. The YouTube channel has been doing okay. I guess I need to be making more videos. And the last video that I made, even though I thought it was a really great video, it just really didn't pick up in search and so forth. But on TikTok, I've been doing really amazing. Had a couple of videos kind of get into the takeoff zone and getting lots of really positive comments and stuff. So. This Bitcoin cracks 30K for the first time since Q1. Pull up a chart here. Oh yeah, they cracked it pretty good overnight. Oh, we already talked about Jeff Bezos going to space and how we don't really care, but that, you know what I thought was the weirdest thing about that story, actually? Oh man, so that was a loser, of course. Look at this thing, it's just a little wild. The treasuries is whatever. I think Ace's trade might work out. The reason I think I'm kind of more I would rather play the open. I don't know, because I'm not convinced that on the open that they're gonna sell is the issue, right? But the treasury, look at this. That was 6 ticks up easy. This is a little crazy. Just a little crazy. That cannot last all session, man. I don't know what it takes to stop it, but that is, unless the world is falling apart here, because I just don't see it. I suppose that we should consider the possibility that the people that are buying the treasuries don't really see it either. And they just have to buy it. had one here that it looked like it was going to be a long signal, and I wasn't quite sure why it didn't take it. But it must have been the directionality filter, because... Oh, actually, I made the thing that will tell me. Yeah. Well, all of the imbalances that I'm seeing are on the long side. How do treasury auctions even work? Well, it's super complicated, and I don't really understand all of it. But my understanding is that what happens is you put your bids in ahead of time, what you want to pay for it, and then at the treasury auction, then based on all of the bids that people put in, that determines the rate that you're going to get. And then after that, there's going to be people that didn't get filled, or there's going to be not enough people bidding for the amount of treasuries that they want to put out. And so then they have to deal with that. And that's where you get like tailing auctions and things like that. Why ask, do we have some bill auctions today? 42 bill auction at 9:30. Yeah. The bill auctions tend not to have a huge impact, but there was some auctions in Europe today, and those seem to push everything up. Okay, that 3.5 is being a little bit more stubborn than some of these other prices have been. I'm going to try this one more time. I'm going to pull this up. Do you look better today? Did I look off? I'm wondering if, because I did not necessarily feel very good today, and I definitely got more rest today. But when NASDAQ trader says that sort of a thing, I'm like sitting here like, I don't really think that you can actually tell. I don't believe him. Oh man, people on Twitter sure are talking about the Jeff Bezos's chip. I did not see nearly this kind of interest in the Virgin Galactic flight. Any news events? Well, we already had some, but later today we don't have anything other than the 42-day bill auction. So. I don't know. If Ace decides to flip long, I might try it. Yeah, I'm sure you're still short. For sure. We have to be like into the 64, 65 area before he'd be getting long. I did doze off at the open, didn't I? Yeah. I don't know if my so yesterday I think that I was getting a lot of false signals and I should have seen it. Today it's like it could be the same situation, and so I'm not really sure what's going to happen, or if any of what I'm seeing is going to... I do see some imbalances in the S&P 500 that kind of suggest that it could flip, but as of yet, the kind of, them crossing the line to go the other way just hasn't happened. Man, and there's the treasure well, okay, that's interesting. That might be enough to flip them, but I really shouldn't be going short in the treasuries. I don't know what I'm thinking. I think that these trades have been taking in the E-mini have kind of been more gambles. I should... Okay, so let's back off here for a second. Let's re-strategize, right? Look at the E-mini fall in there. Yeah. Not a very good fill. Bail. Okay, cool. Scratched. That worked out the way it was supposed to. Another thing is that my inventory cost basis indicators are kind of giving me wild swings. Okay, they did go a little bit higher in the treasury again. Look at that. Does a Jigsaw sim have margin settings? I don't really know because I've never really looked at that. I don't know. The thing is with scalping and stuff, you don't really think about your margin. You never want to take that you're never going to be using enough of that margin for it to matter, right? Like if that margin number matters, you're like way too leveraged. Okay, did you see the way those treasuries came back? Holy crap, Yola. Give me that long. Okay. So that the drop in the yield, I think, could be significant. Try sleep. You know what's so annoying yesterday was I'm like, I'm feeling tired and I didn't get good sleep the night. So we really got to focus, especially if the markets is getting crazy. Like I really need to try and be my best. So I made sure to go to bed early. Well, the baby wanted to screw around before he was willing to go to sleep. So I got in bed early, but it was a good 30-40 minutes of the baby just crawling all over me and stuff, trying to keep us all awake before I fell asleep. Really frustrating. Oh, you know what? By the way, I've got to like if I were as lucky. I don't know why this reminds me of this, but the other funny thing that happened was this morning. So this morning, the dogs were whining when I came downstairs, which isn't normal, but that's been, they go through stages of it. So I wake up, Mickey's whining. So I let them out. Well, the sprinkler's on outside. And when they come back in, Sadie is just fine. She's the younger one. But Mickey, the old dog, was just drenched. He just got completely drenched. I don't think it was intentional. He was just like, why did I get all wet? So I kind of feel bad for him, but at the same time, I think he probably got what he deserved. GOP says Schumer vote will fail, says The Hill. Yeah, check out BTC down pretty big. Well, it's below 30K. I really thought that a dip below 30K would result in more, what is the word? More panic than it has. It is down pretty big though. Corn is up big today, by the way. Look at that unusual volume in corn. And ZB is the one that's really moving. Oh, geez, look at that. Look at the treasury's coming back down, but the equities aren't really responding to it. There was some big selling there in the treasury. Look at how quickly they pushed that down. I continue to see pretty even two-way flow in the E-mini, by the way. I wonder if that is, we should be reading that as that there's still a lot of hedging activity going on. And they recovered that drop. Eight minutes to the open. The open is going to be interesting because I think that we should expect a mix of action, but I think that there's going to be a lot of buy the dip on the open. You think that Bitcoin's drop may have something to do with less tether printing or whatever? Well, so that's a big factor. There hasn't been any tether printed in quite some time, and since that's happened, it's just been flat. And I think that some people are getting a little concerned about that one. But I also think that the bearishness that we've seen in traditional markets is having a big effect on Bitcoin as well. People are understanding better and better that Bitcoin trades like a risk asset. And so when bad things happen, Bitcoin moves down. So at a certain point, somewhere below 30K, you could start getting into stop runs in Bitcoin, and you could have a really quick down move towards like the 20K level, below 20K. And below 20K, then it starts to get, because that was like the initial move, right? So if they fail 20K and there's a substantial movement below that, it's going to really freak some people out, you know? My wife's boomerang dumped $1,000 into Doge at 46. It's so weird. It's, you know, I talked to a lot of people when all that stuff was happening. And, you know, I don't want to come in and give them like an outright, like, don't buy it or sell it or whatever, because, you know, I don't really know what's going to happen. But at the same time, like with as many people as was involved in the Dogecoin thing in particular, it was like, you got to know something bad's going to happen, right? Probably not one that I can make a trade out of, not on a short-term basis, but it's not going to end well, you know? Why don't you try adding the title a few minutes before the open and we can track channel interest? Yeah, but what would I put in there? You know, like the funny thing is that so like the best title that would get the most traffic here, I'll show you. We'll do Jeff Bezos goes to space. We can put that in the title. And I bet you that a lot of people will come, but then they're going to come in and they're going to be like, well, I want to see Jeff Bezos going to space. He's not even watching that. Right? Because it's all the search. It's all about search. Oh, there's a really good little excursion right there on the long side. Nah, she was pretty mellow about it, to be honest. She's like, it's money I can... But that was what a lot of people... That was the take that I saw a lot of people do. But it goes back to that point. And it's interesting because people were finding that video on TikTok that I made about this subject and boosting it, which was kind of weird. But it seems to me that there are a bunch of people out there that have too much money and they don't know what to do with it. And the fact that there aren't more productive investments out there for them to make, so much so that they decide to YOLO it in Treasure or in Dogecoin, I think is really telling about where our economy is right now, you know? Well, man, that was such a great excursion. And then look, the sellers just come back with vengeance. I think the deltas are still favorable to the longs, though. Okay. We are getting some little spurts of. So do you see that little cascade of stuff? Somebody sold like 2 or 3 levels. Dollar at 93.05 might be in a key spot here. Yeah, okay. Another tick down or 2 in the dollar, and I think that we could have a much better pathway higher. Should have YOLO'd all my 10 days. I regret not doing it on Doge because I remember saying, well, when all this calms down, I got the garlic coin, but when things calm down, I should get the Doge coin too. And I never did. Forgot all about it, honestly. Okay, that was good. I think that movement right there is in line with my suspicion that people are going to try and buy the open. But given that it's already moved up a decent amount, kind of potentially limits our upside now. Like I've noticed that when you have too much selling ahead of the open, that they revert. But let's see the open. There could be like a ton of volume, like right on the open. My brother YOLO G-Mean holds a record for being one of however many trades were executed with only 1 minute of candle that touched 500 a share. Oh man. But this is where the square root law of meta order impact is such a key insight into markets, because once you understand the square root law of meta order impact, you realize that it's actually really likely that you end up buying the high, because more volume is going to trade up there, because it requires more and more volume to keep pushing price, right? Okay, Ace says he got out. Jeff Bezos has already landed? Wait, really? 30 seconds. All right, here we go. Yeah, it's a clear buy on the open right there. How much was it in Delta though? So far, not a meaningful amount. They'd be pushing though. You didn't think they were going to chill in this, but actually I kind of did. I thought it was going to be longer than that. Oof. Okay, so there's the excursion on the short side. Ouch. Jeez. Okay. Well, the treasuries are still selling. There was another big sell there at 04.5. But it looks like I got triggered. Sucks. Bummer. That's a real bummer for me, man. You need to disable that. Okay. Well, this is interesting because that turned into an overall win for the sellers, but the treasuries aren't moving higher. The treasuries aren't confirming it now. It sucks because I really liked that trade. I thought that I had a good position and that we were getting some favorable action. So for that to have just fallen apart so quickly is really disappointing. What do you think about Trading Technologies? So I think they have really great software. There's a lot of things that TT will do that the other platforms don't. But there are also some things about how you customize the DOM that I think they're a little bit that they're behind in. So if I were to use TT, I would still want to be using Jigsaw combined with it. But you know, whatever. See, I still freaking want to buy it. I can't do it on the gauntlet. I could take a sim trade here. Long-term structure of the market is to crash eventually. What? I don't know. Like the thing is that the buy on the open, it did happen, right? It's just it fell apart very quickly, didn't it? Okay, well, that was a very aggressive buyback, almost to the open. Not quite there yet, but very, very fast. Very, very fast. Look at that. They touch to the open. Can they get above it? Ace says he got a long signal. Okay. I'll tell you what, I'm going to take it. I'm going to do it over on this other screen, but I'm going to take it. Okay, they did get above the open. Now let's see if they can get to that high. They can bust that. Well, they're certainly they're going to hit the high now. Yeah, look at that. Yeah, it was a good stop run there when they touched it too. They're very bullish, I think. Ace says harvest early. I know you like those 20-point runs. I know. Well, I did good there. It's already got a fair amount of favorable excursion, and I think that the given situation is that we could hold this for some time. Yeah. I only did one contract, though. So what I'm going to do here, if it'll let me, good grief. Fetch. Okay. I will adjust my management, but I'm not. I want to see this a bit more. Okay, so there was a very aggressive short excursion there. They seem to be taking it in stride, though. The dollar is still above 93.05. So if we can get the dollar to fall below 93.05 or so, I think that could really benefit. I'm also, the treasuries do appear to be coming back. So we'll be keeping an eye over here, but there has been some pretty big market sells. You say oil's still weak. Oh, you know what? I need to roll over oil, by the way. Maybe not. Oh, yeah, yes, I do. Okay. Give me the little rollover button. There we go. Yes. Okay, well, they've come back to the open. They're slightly below the open. Shoot. Came back, huh? The way this thing is moving right now is a little wild, isn't it? Whew. Very big excursions both ways. So this is not quite what I was expecting to see. Although it could still be positive. Especially if they can beat out that last candle at like what? 61.50. And we got 30 seconds to do it. Seems like there's a little bit of difficulty with the open there, though, doesn't it? Yeah. Okay, so there they threw it again. Holy crap, Yola. Yeah, I see all of Vlad's comments, but I can't really focus on it. Because it's moving so fast. Holy crap. This is such fast action. I'd argue that it's still bullish. Well, it's definitely bullish now that they did that, but holy crap. And you see that stop run again? Especially on the micros. There was like that huge little slice up there to 65. I should clear this up there. Okay. I'll do this one too, so we can see if there's a stop run. I want to see them. Gus says, I think shorts are about to get squeezed. If they make a new high, there's definitely going to be some stops up there, don't you think? Oh, sent you a message. Yeah, I see here. Let me see. Would you be able to comment on patterns such as these when you see 100, 200 with short intervals, smaller orders on the tape? Oh, yeah. Well, so it's really tough for me to say. There's your high, by the way. It's really tough for me to say that that's like a pattern per se. But something that you will see happen. How do I put this? Okay, so something that you might interest you and that I think is pertinent to what you just showed me is, say there's like 100 and there's 100 there on the offer, right? So traders at institutions, they have this special type of order, a synthetic order that is basically everything that's at that price, right? So they can essentially try to clear that price. And when you get those orders like that, that's often what is happening. Is you'll see them, okay, I'm going to clear this price, I'm going to clear this price, and it is them kind of trying to clear the way to support a position that they already have usually, or at least that's my understanding. I guess that's, I try to be careful about not saying things that are not provable. So let me just stick to, you can buy everything that's on offer, right? And a lot of the times you'll notice, if you use the jigsaw DOM, you'll notice that those big orders tend to be clears, that they tend to clear the price. So what the algorithms that are doing that and why it happens and stuff is an open question, but I have theories. Put it that way. Okay, so they did make a new high, and it looks really great. On upsides, let's start looking at that now. Target 1 is 91. Oh my gosh. So if this is a reversal day, this could really go quite a ways, huh? Because first standard deviation is 91, and then second standard deviation is 43.22. Okay, well, the price action has come down. Do you have courses? I don't have courses, and I don't think I ever will, to be honest with you, Major. So I do think I want to write a book. Here's the thing. When we're talking about reading order flow, we just got to be careful. Like, order flow is a really, really useful tool, but it is just that, and it doesn't necessarily tell you what's going to happen. You know what I mean? Only in very, very narrow situations do I think you really have a good trade just based off of order flow. What? Hold on a second. Was that over here? What was that? I'm confused. I think something just happened that wasn't supposed to happen, because that I saw it down in here, so that means that it was the Ninja account. Come on. Oh, shit. Shit. Fuck. Oh my god, that's so terrible. Okay. Okay. Fuck. Oh my god. Okay, it's okay. Hold on. Okay, so this just needs to Jesus. Hold on a second. Oh my gosh. I feel so dumb. Okay, so I took an order on my live account, okay? And I'm still in it, it's fine. So that's not what just happened there. That's why it like freaked me out at first. But what did happen was I left the limit order on the Combine account on. I left the limit order on the Combine account on, and it just took it. So that's gonna blow that account. I'm so mad. I'm so mad. I can't believe I did that. It's such a boneheaded mistake. It's such a boneheaded mistake, but we'll just go back to it. I'm sorry, bro. That sucks. I know. You know, the dumb thing is that the original trade that I had on stopped out, but that it just touched the target that I had for it. So that is really frustrating. But I can reset it. They said that I can reset it as many times as I need to. But being able to pass that Combine before the end of the month, yeah, that's probably not happening, huh? That's why it's so disappointing. I don't know what I'm going to do about it now. What do you guys think? Should we just reset it and then work out like, well, actually first let's go and look and confirm it'll say that we burnt it out. Oh, that was so bad. See, this is one of those things that Jigsaw does that I think is so much better, but see here, it's gonna go in. Oh, it doesn't say it yet. Wait. Oh no, it definitely busted it. It definitely should have busted it. I don't see. Well, let's open the trader dashboard here. Gauntlet, yeah, P&L 687, and the max daily loss is supposed to be 550. So it's not showing that I broke the Combine yet, but I definitely did. We can see here. At least it's not real money. Yeah. Well, the reason that it's so frustrating, Ace, is that the robot was doing really well on its own. And then we came into this market period and it wasn't, we felt like we needed to help it out a little bit. Now I'm going to have to like reset it one more time. And I want it to pass. I wanted it to pass. I feel like now the chances of it passing are like really low. So I think that the algorithm works in the right kind of market conditions, but I'm worried that the market conditions that we need for that to really work aren't going to come back for a while. Major Ace is messing with you. So I didn't cover that. Oh, sorry. But like I got into that, and then all this dumb stuff happened. It's okay. We keep watching hour long that we have on our live account and pay for our commissions this month, and then that'll be a big one for us. It's just unfortunate what happened with the combine. Oh man, and it couldn't have happened in a more odd way either. Don't you think? That is so freaking. Oh my gosh. Okay, so Major, here's the thing with courses. Okay, so first of all, the way that I learned was the No BS day trading course. Okay. That's where I first picked up order flow. And then if you buy Jigsaw, and I have a link, affiliate link in the video description. When you buy Jigsaw trading, it also comes with a beginner's course that I think gives you a really good primer on what order flow is about. So that's kind of like one of the main reasons why I've never made education around that facet, because there's already like really good resources out there. I do think probably I should make some stuff about order flow though. So that's the first one. And then a lot of the stuff that I've picked up has come from books, and very, very technical books, like textbooks. Okay. Don't go and buy these like books marketed specifically to day traders. Try and find books that are like for college courses. Okay. On market microstructure. Number two thing is that there's no better teacher than the market. So if you want to learn, the best thing to do is to just come in and chat with people and watch what they say about what's going on at that particular time. Because there's just so many different scenarios and situations and things to pay attention to that it's really something that you kind of just want to take day by day. So that's what I would do. So if you want to learn, I'd Ace, for instance, is a pretty good trader. He is mostly momentum. So that's how he trades. He doesn't really use order flow in his trading. And frankly, I think sometimes he gets really lucky, but he is a pretty good trader. And there's a lot of really good traders here in the room that you can watch. So that's kind of the whole idea here is some people to just talk with, watch the markets together, and then you can learn from them. But no guarantees, of course. There's no guarantee. It's no matter what, trading's hard, right? Gus says, don't listen to me. Oh, man. I'm so mad. So mad. Okay, now it just updated. 7:56. 7:56. But just that's how long it takes them to show it. So stupid. The annoying thing is that would have been a $500 winner. It's so funny. Like, I got frustrated. I'm like, okay, I'm going to turn around. I still really believe in this one, so I'm going to take it on my live account to prove it. And that one works out, and the combine blows. It's so freaking funny. Oh my gosh. You took a $1,700 loss today? Really? Were you going short? I mean, I would understand if you started out going short, but once they started breaking those highs... How do I know that? You have to let that go? Well, I'm so like... From How do I explain this? It's such a mix of feelings, isn't it? Because I lost, but I won. You know? Okay, let me back up. I've done combines many, many times before, okay? And I've blown them. I've had times where I would have beaten a combine, but not while I was doing a combine, right? I've also had times where it was like, oh, I made a certain amount, but then I switched it over and it didn't count. Anyways, there was this one time where I would have won the combine, but because of the drawdown and stuff, it didn't work out, right? Like I started at 0, I went down $500, and then I went up $2,000. So the account was only $1,500, but if I had started at the bottom part of that thing, then I would have passed it, right? That sort of thing happened to me all the times. So eventually I realized that the combine really encourages you to take on excess risk compared to the risk parameters that they're giving you, right? So like in this instance, if I come in and I trade a full E-mini contract and I can make or lose $200 on a trade, right? That one just there was an order sticking out there that I forgot to cancel. And when it went through, it almost immediately was 250 in the hole, and that's why it blew the account. Because I was like well within my risk parameters, and then that one blows the account on the day. It was such a bad mistake, right? But that's what I don't like about the combine, is it really does encourage excess risk taking. Now compare that to what I'm doing here in the micro, okay? I could have taken a $20 loss and it would have been no big deal because it's like a $1,500 account. And I could size up if I wanted to, you know? And like just really let these things run. And for me over here, trading a micro contract, you know, if I took it off here right now and made $150, like that would be amazing, right? So there's issues with the combines, but I had an algorithm that would have passed it last month. So it was really great. But then what happened was this recent market action kind of turned into a thing that's not very favorable to the algorithm, right? So what am I supposed to do? So I started taking small trades, and then I saw this opportunity and said, let's YOLO on it. So I took a YOLO and it didn't work. No big deal. Come back tomorrow, except for that there was a mistake. So now what should I do? So the reason why I'm not over it is because I don't know what I'm going to do about it. Well, I think maybe I do know what I'm going to do about it. I'm going to reset it, right? We're going to reset it and just retry again one more time. And this one more time, I'm just not going to touch it. Let's hope that the action that we're seeing today is enough that it will be favorable to the algorithm again. And if we get at the end of the month and it just doesn't take enough trades or whatever, then whatever. And I can touch it, and we can help it around. We've just got to be a bit more careful next time, right? No, he should be able to see Ace because you're an admin. Yep, you can see it. What are the books you read? So the one book that I've read that I thought was the most useful was called Markets Under the Microscope by, it's like some French guy, Beauchamp or something like that. I'm just warning you though, it is like a college level textbook with very, very heavy statistical math in it. Was one of the most difficult reads I've ever done. Okay, they're still going. They're still looking strong here, man. How did TradingView change their logo? Well, almost to the target here. Look at that volume, man. Okay, so let's make sure that I don't have any working orders. Okay. Bidoom, bidoom. Okay. Is there a setting in NinjaTrader for that? No. So the solution to this is really to use the ATM strategy, isn't it? Let's make a new ATM strategy. Order quantity, parameter type, target 1, stop strategy, custom. That's weird. Oh, stop losses like that. I see. In ticks. And we will do 16 and 16. Good till canceled. Let's see here. And then is there something I've got to do? Also, lots of YouTube videos steer away from one selling something. Good morning, Alex. How are you? I don't know why, but this whole thing, it makes me want to yell at Ace to get in Discord again. It's like, I need comfort, Ace, and you're not here. Okay, so I have a sim account. I'm on the sim account here. So cancel this. Oh wait, save. Okay, custom. So if I come in here and I buy, come on. Okay, so it gives me the 2. Yes, and if I move this, no, no, no. I think that if I'm going to try and take trades on that account, that I really need to do it through Jigsaw. Just picture us giving you all a big hug. Is it just me? Like the whole what just happened is really funny and ironic, don't you think? I find it really funny that I blew the Combine account and made a huge winner on my live account. I just can't even. Oh my gosh. How does that? You can't write stuff like this, you know? I'm going to change that to the kind of I blow a Combine but make money on my personal account. This is so funny. It'll make a good story in 24 hours, I know. Well, I'm lucky that I didn't do that on the live account, right? That I still had the orders sitting out there. Oh man. They is nasty. So let's see here. I just don't have. Oh, by the way, it should show more than that. So if I take a trade here, how do you move it? Are you not allowed to move it? But then if I cancel that, it cancels all of them. And then I flatten. Okay. But I need to read here a little bit about NinjaTrader ATM. Wait a second. No, this isn't. New at this? You know, I have a lot of videos major on the channel, so I would go and watch those first. I'm sorry, I'm not in a very. This is probably the worst day for a new person to come in and have like good questions. How do you modify? How to modify the price of entry and exit orders. Okay, so if I come in here, it says left click. That's wrong. What a load of crap. What if I put this right here and then can I do it? Yes, I can. But not like that. That's not it. See, I'm not so sure that using the ATM is really the right way to go. I do the same thing, revenge trading. I think it took 4 or 5 losing trades when really it took 12. Well, yeah. But the thing that's is it's really, I don't, how do I put this? I wouldn't necessarily mark it up as a personal failing. I think that a lot of that has to do with your strategy, right? As your strategy, because it's momentum based, you could end up taking trades both ways many times and not getting anything out of it. And then at that point, you're like really frustrated. And then you get into the mind, you get all of the mental problems where you don't realize how many trades you've taken and all that junk. By the way, I took my trade off up in here around the 90 area. Was a good target. I finally caught that. I finally caught it, right? I don't remember how many times I was like, I just want to take the one long and then hold it all the way up to the volatility target. Finally got it. One contract, $160. Paid our commissions for the month. For our data. Paid for our data, basically. Good deal. And now I probably shouldn't touch my account for a while. Alex says, I don't think you can drag the prices in the Super Dom. Well, you can, yeah. So this is the thing that's annoying is that I can come in here and I can put a limit order right here, right? And I can move it like that. But it looks like the ATM strategies, I'm not allowed to do that. The Ninja Trader Dom is garbage for sure. But I just don't want to pay for the Jigsaw license right now. I'm not taking enough trades on my live account to justify paying for the monthly license. So I haven't been doing that. So, and I don't think I want to, just for the combine, If I come over here, I think it's still connected. Let me see here. Yeah, it won't even let me see them. Oh wait, but is that because I don't have the... No, I have the JT connection on. If I change it to do this... No, it just doesn't seem. It only sees the SIM accounts. Who asked for the Zoom? I was zooming out to make sure that you didn't see an account. I've seen people drag the price to sell on the NinjaTrader chart while having ATM on the side. So you need a hard stop always. Always should have a daily loss limit for sure. Like, that's a frustrating thing, is that my robot took one and then I took one and I was at the limit. So I was leaving it alone. And what happened was I didn't cancel the other orders. Because I didn't set them with an ATM strategy when I exited that trade, it didn't cancel those orders. So I suppose that I just need to manage it manually. Oh, interesting. Block buy in the treasury? They haven't quite come back to 28.5. It's kind of funny. Like, I really had the trade right in the treasury in the long run that it was going to come back to this 30-ish area. That sure was a wild move up, though. So if I put this in a buy here. See, that doesn't... That's another thing, is like, how come I can't... Okay. It's telling me custom one. It really doesn't look like you can move it. Because like the most I can do is, well, if I do that, it just puts another order. And if I click there, it just wants me to modify the number of contracts. If I click the price, nothing happens. Oh, actually, it did change. Oh, I have to click the price. Now I can go bid it. Lock sell. It's no good. And then it cancels. Okay. All right. Oh, did we move up another step there, huh? 98? Oof. I could have gotten $200 on that. Well, I wouldn't be surprised, actually, if today we went up to as high as 43.20. Yes, 43.20. But that's too far of a target for me to take. Certainly on my live account. So. Oh, what are you guys saying here now? If I had been trading for some hedge fund with no stop loss, I would be up 35 points and they would have thrown me a party. What? Okay, so he says he made 12 losing trades in a row. Why do you think that you did 12 in a row? Actually, let's back up even further than that. So I'm assuming that you were shorting the NASDAQ, right? So why were you shorting the NASDAQ? The opposite button. So, like, was there a premise behind the trade, or was it more the signal that you're looking for? It was just telling you long. I don't know how systematic you are about it. Is there a way to like filter this? Only active orders? Yes. Okay. NASDAQ trader says I was getting long. So you were getting long the NASDAQ and you still lost 12 times in a row? Oh, okay. So what are your, how in the number of ticks, what are your stops and targets? Yeah, he's right. It's not real money. It's just like what I was doing, right? I was on setup that I tweaked, then made more specific. Then now I will make that even more specific and put my own. Some things that didn't for a very long time, but tweaked again. That doesn't really make sense. But I'm still gathering information here. What is your stop and target and number of ticks? Because it sounds to me like you're saying you were going long, you had the direction right, it was hitting your stop before you got the what you wanted every time, and it did that 12 times in a row apparently, which is pretty crazy. I'm kind of looking at this and I'm like, how could you be going long and lose 12 times in a row? That's really interesting signal. Like, you actually might have something that the market cares about, although maybe we don't completely understand it if you lost 12 times in a row going long on today. That's really wild. That can't just be random chance, you know? Especially if you're really taking your signal, right? Alex says, so the market had one big down day and roaring back again. Seems like the market has these mini pullbacks only nowadays instead of corrections. Yeah, well, so here's the issue is going back to this. Why is it happening? And why are the treasury yields moving up the way that they've been? And when they did a survey with the treasury traders believed that it was supply and demand dynamics in specific to treasuries were more responsible for it than anything. So, that means you get this big move. It might not mean anything from a fundamental perspective, right? Okay, then you come over to the E-mini. Yesterday, there was a big decline, probably because so much gamma expired last Friday. So all of these market makers have a ton of stocks that they are long, that they held to hedge for their options that they need to dump. So they came in, they sold some futures to hedge themselves as they're coming down, and they sold all those stocks. Big move down, right? Preferably a one-day thing. So then we come out to today, that setup isn't there anymore. Retail traders want to buy the dip, they buy the dip. So after all of that, do we know anything about the fundamental cause per se? No. I do think that the evidence still points primarily to short-term supply and demand, but that doesn't mean that we can't come down tomorrow. I guess a part of that is my own read that the Delta variant is not that significant of a problem. And the economy isn't going into a recession. It's just the growth wasn't as high as we expected, which means we should move sideways. So we'll see what happens. Okay, NASDAQ trader says that the target is a moving target and the stop is 20 ticks. Okay. So here's the thing. I think that part of what might have happened to you, NASDAQ trader, is that the market is very volatile. And as such, you're likely going to have to modify your stops and make them wider, right? Because this is a market that's been moving, 5 to 10 points in a minute at points, right? So what's happening to you is you have like this target that's like a moving target and it's trailing up, but then the really volatile market, that makes it really likely to hit to your stop, right? So I believe, based on what you told me, that your problem has more to do with your stop strategy than anything. So something that you can do to help with this is like put an ATR or a range indicator on your chart to see how far it is moving on the time frame that you want to be. Like if you want to be long and you only want to be long for 5 minutes, then have a 5-minute chart up, right? And you see what is the range in 5-minute bars, and you can say, oh, well, it's more than 20 ticks. that means that if I have a 20 tick stop, there's a really good chance just based on randomness that I'm going to get stopped out. Right? And then since you don't have a target on the other side, right, this could have been a situation where you lost money every time, but you actually had more favorable excursion than adverse excursion overall. Could happen, right? But the split side of that is, how many losers in a row do you have to take before it says that's not supposed to happen, right? So like I will go and I'll do my back tests, and there's like the longest losing streak, 16 trades is 12 losing trades is about the largest I've seen. Live action Z and off screen just saying, what do you mean? Oh yeah, I need to reset it. Thanks. they really after they hit my target at 30, they really. Normally I only place one trade a day. So for me, I have like a number of trades in a row where I've got to like start thinking about things. I've had a hard time having it just be like 4 trades in a row, you stop. Because what will happen there is it can be like a good opportunity day and it's just random and you haven't adjusted yet, and it can still turn into a good day, right? But if I get like more than 3 losers in a row, I'm starting to think that that's maybe not just random, right? So I have to start to think about, okay, is it that there's more volatility than I'm expecting? Is there something about this market that is bad for my strategy? That sort of a thing. So with the trade that I took today, I knew that I had a pretty good setup for the long in the Combine account, but that the Combine account got stopped out is just kind of the random probabilities. So I still really believed in what the market was doing, so I took it long one more time with a really, really small trade, right? So that's another thing that you can do is like, if you're having trouble, it can be useful to just kind of scale back. Like if I'm trading a full NQ, then I'm going to back up and I'm just going to start trading the micro again. Or if I'm trading 2 contracts, I scale back and I just trade 1 contract and try and get something on 1 contract, right? Live action says me too sometimes, but simultaneously on 10 different contracts. I can't believe that. I'm still so mad about the Combine thing. Oh man. Well, we'll have them reset it one more time. One of the things is that it did take a trade today that the algorithm did. So maybe this whole thing about like it's not going to trade every day and that's a big problem, that concern might have been overblown. It's interesting. The thing that's frustrating is I wanted to be able to come in and say like, I want to make a video that says my robot passed the Combine and then go into the whole thing, That's what I would really like to do. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that. If I'm not able to do that, then what am I going to do for the video? What am I going to make the title for the video? It's tough. So now I'm back to, why doesn't Ace get on Discord? Because I'm always sitting here like, okay, is it really just too much work for him to come in, or is he playing like attachment games with me here? Like he really just doesn't want to get on voice chat, and he just isn't going to say so. He says both. All right. Because if you really don't want to be in voice chat, then why don't you just say, I'm just not comfortable getting on voice chat? Yeah, I can't figure it out, seriously. So tell me, if you go to is it discordapp.com? So when you go discordapp.com and then you click open in your browser, what happens? Do you get this, enter a username? You need to boss him around, Seth. He likes, no, I don't think so. He could help me when I'm off and I need to stop taking trades, though. Hang on, phone. You see what I'm talking about, folks? Now treasuries are going to start testing the downside of the range of the day. This could get very interesting. Oh man, this selling since that top is really dramatic. It's really dramatic. Like the market is really saying today, like, okay, like all of the problems are gone, it's all fine now. Especially the treasuries pulling back this way. Like they were like all scared at the beginning, and then when the equities bought the dip, they're like, oh, okay, no, it's fine, everything's fine now. Which is kind of silly if you think about it. Oh, cool. Oh, cool. My other computer's already on. Hold on. Let's make sure that's all going here. They give a password for that one? That's lame. They're using a different service to do a meeting at work today. I'm gonna make sure I got it downloaded. Okay. I think he is playing hard to get. You need to see what he likes and gift it to him. That's how I feel. I feel like he's playing hard to get. Thanks, Ace. You made me money with that trade you called in plenty of time. Well, yeah. So how egotistical I am. I appreciated the confirmation a lot because that trade was really, there was a lot of risk involved in that. I had already taken the trade before you said something, actually. But when you confirmed that you were getting the long, I was okay. I'm gonna stick to this. And when it went up, I instead of, and I tell you what, it came close to stopping it out many times. By the way, it came really close. But I said it's fine. It will just be commissions. So I'm gonna hold on. Because like everything just lined up. It was like what I'm seeing seems to line up. What Ace is seeing seems to line up. We can afford to take some risk on this, so it's good. I appreciated it. So anyways, so if you go to discordapp.com and then you enter in a username, what happens? So if I put in, if I'm just gonna put in, yeah, back to the Discord tutorial. So you go to discord.com and then I'll refresh it here. Discord.com, and it says open Discord in your browser. Just this part right here. There's the link. You can click on it. Okay. So you click on open Discord in your browser and you put in a name. I'm going to put in foo and a bunch of numbers. Okay. Submit. It wants to confirm that I'm a human. Okay. So do you get this screen? Welcome to Discord, and it wants to know your birthday. New user profiles. Got it. Okay. I think I got in RJ's Discord only. Okay. Then you select your birthday, May 31, 1985 is my birthday. This right here, create my own and all that. We can just click the X button. Okay. And then it says finish signing up, and then it wants an email. You put in the email. Is it asking you that? Or is it taking you in? You already have an account. Do you have a screen that looks like this? What does your screen look like now? It's like, get on Discord so you can show me. Oh, yeah, that's right. Do you have a screen that looks like this? Yes, I can get to that screen with RJ. Okay, don't worry about that. So you see this right here? Down down at the lower left, the username, and it says click to copy username. Then you click it and it says copied. Click that and paste it over here in chat. Like here in paste it here in YouTube chat. No, right where you're typing right now in this YouTube chat where you just put messages. Come on, Ace. Oh, so I know I sound absolutely dumb. Like in the window where you are typing those messages, press Control. Ah, okay. Okay. Hold on a second. Let's see here. Okay. So now you should see somewhere on your screen. Okay. So if you come in here, here's Discord, right? Accepted request. Yes. There it is. Hi. Okay. So we're halfway there. Let's see if it will let us start a video call. It'll be quick. I only got 5 minutes. Oh, what's my phone doing here? So you should be getting like a little icon showing up somewhere to like accept the to join the call. Oh, there you go. I can hear you. Can you hear me? Hello. I do hear him. Okay, so first thing is mute YouTube so that you don't hear me twice. Okay. So, let's hear which one is it. Okay, there we go. So that the stream can hear you. Okay, so first thing I think that you need to do here, I'm gonna share my screen. Hold on. Yes, this one right here. Okay, can you see my screen here in YouTube? Oh, wait. Oh, yep. Stop streaming. The wrong one. I think that was the wrong screen. Hold on a second. Screens. There we go. Okay. Okay, now you can see my screen. You can see the Discord, right? Okay. So first thing that we should do is go down to user settings. And
can you hear me in the chat room?
What do you mean? I can hear you right now.
I know you can hear me. Can the rest of the YouTube?
Yes, the rest of the YouTube should be able to hear you. There's like noise. So if you come down
I got
here,
a fan on in the back. Sorry.
Okay. Well, so if you click on user settings and you go voice and video.
Go slow. User settings.
Voice and video.
Show me where user settings are. I don't have your screen anymore.
Oh, you don't? You see it now?
Nope. I can see it on the YouTube.
Oh, that's weird. So down at the very lower left, there's like a little gear icon.
Oh, there we go. User settings.
Yep. User settings. And then voice and video.
Why are we wasting this much time on Ace? Voice and video. Got it?
Okay.
I don't have a camera, by the way.
That's fine. When you click on input device, do you have multiple devices?
Input sensitivity. No, but I can see where it's picking up my fan. It's right behind me.
Yeah. That's fine. So you can come in here and so this right here, input mode, voice activity. So you can change it to a button, or you can just leave it like this, and then you'll see the amount of volume when the fan, and then you'll see the amount of volume when you're talking, and you can adjust it to be the right, so that it will just automatically engage at the right volume.
Okay. I can just mute myself.
Yeah. That way we'll only hear the fan when you're actually talking.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Okay. So next thing is, if you come back to, do you see on the left side direct messages and my name?
Let me get out of that. Escape. Yeah. I got you.
Okay, so if you click that, and then you'll see, do you see in the right side, there's like a big screen, and it's probably gray?
Correct.
Okay, and if you mouse over that, do you see share your screen?
Absolutely.
Okay, so click that. And then you'll see this little screen share window pops up. And there's two tabs. There's applications and there's screens. Click screens. And then select which screen you want to share. And you click go live. Is that a cat?
That is a cat.
It's a little kitty. Sounded like a little kitty. Ah, yes, I see. Okay, now drag your Discord window over to the screen that you're showing me there with your 4 charts. And I'm just going to move this over here. YouTube won't see it, just in case it shows us anything that's like an email or something like that.
Say it again about drag the Discord window.
Yes, so I can see 4 charts that you're sharing with me right now. So drag your Discord window over to that screen.
I'm not sure what you mean.
Do
that. So I take the Discord window. You mean put the Discord window in that screen?
Yes, exactly. Just like that. There we go. Yes. Okay. Now, click on the settings icon down at the lower left again. Okay. So, do you see right there? So you see where it says phone numbers? You haven't added a phone number yet?
Correct.
Click add.
Heck to no. Give rid of my phone number? No thanks.
So what it is for is, in order to stop the spam, the Discord requires people to have a verified phone number. They definitely do not use it to spam you or anything like that.
I don't need Salim calling me.
No, and it doesn't. I don't even think that it's not available for anybody else to see in the app anywhere, anything like that. It's only used as it will send you a text with a code to log in. When you want to log in, you have to enter the code that they text you. That's all they use it for. So I promise it's safe to give them your phone number. It's not like Facebook. I gave Facebook my email, my number. Terrible. Okay, I tell you what. I will fix it just for you.
So is live action say I don't have a good voice for a trading room? Is that what he's saying?
I always thought Ace Trades had a trading room, but his voice here is different.
Yeah, that's his nice way of saying it. He would never get in a trading room with my stuff on there. Anyway, this has been fun. I've learned a lot. I now know how to get to Discord. It wasn't that hard. Thanks, Seth.
Yeah. If you want to get in, we can do it this way, and you don't have to come into the actual server. The verifying the phone numbers if you want to get into our server that we link in the video descriptions.
I don't know. What's the advantage of that?
Then you're around all the time, and you can see what people are saying in chat.
The US
there,
to sell
I guess.
$40 billion.
But I'll just change it here for a second.
July 22nd to settle on July 27th.
Hold on a second. Where is
You're
it?
on a real treat. We should get bots in here. This is.
Oh yeah.
He's the one with a great voice.
Well,
nothing. It's.
If we set it right, oh man, is it not? How do you change it? Insights, overview, server template, widget integrations, audit log, moderation. Maybe I need to get off. I'll change it because they have this cool feature where there's like a stage and you can like invite people up onto stage and like allow people to talk and not talk. It's really cool. But we can do that another day.
Yeah, well, and we can do some educational stuff. I mean, if people wanted to learn, if people had questions, and I particularly feel like it's nice to give back. I mean, it's nice to help new traders learn stuff. They don't have to have such a steep learning curve, expensive learning curve. So
yeah.
I wouldn't mind sharing sometimes, but I'm also not comfortable with being center of attention right now, so I'm probably going to bail out. Probably going to bail here in a minute, and
well, yeah, it's time for me to go, anyways.
All right,
so
thanks, guys. Hello, chat room, everybody.
Good progress today, though.
Yeah, we got some place. Thanks, Seth. Have a great rest of your day, guys.
Later. Okay, so I gotta get going, guys. We're gonna leave that. Today was a eventful stream. Okay, so tomorrow should be good, I guess. I'll see you tomorrow. In the meantime, stay profitable, friends.